What's going on, world? Brand new episode of Royal Key there on your screen. I'm your host, George Kill, and I'm here at UNC Baseball with Ryan. Ryan, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Now, I want to know your title first and foremost, because you have an awesome creative job, and a lot of people don't know what you do, but it's very important. So let's start there.
Yeah, I'm the facility and turf supervisor here at Boshamer Stadium. So my main responsibilities is to take care of the field, also do some things here and there around the stadium to make sure that it's upkept and ready to go. We have a lot of great products that we get to use that are cutting edge in the turf industry. One of the main ones is we actually have grow lights from SGL that help us grow grass, especially in our wear areas. It's literally a grow light that produces heat and the correct UV wavelengths for grass to grow, and it helps us recover and grow grass when our daylight times are shorter.
Now, off camera, I saw you kind of fidgeting with your phone, and there were sprinklers on at first.
Yes.
What were you doing there?
So I have the ability through the Hunter HydroWise app to control our irrigation system from anywhere in the world. I can set times, I can manually start and stop. Let's say there's a pop-up thunderstorm that comes in and I've irrigation set, but I've already gone home for the day. I can turn that off from my phone and not have to worry about overwatering.
Now, prior to this, you spent time with the Nationals. Now you're here. What is the most gratifying part of your job?
When fans are here and just seeing their faces. When I was a little kid, I used to always enjoy going to the baseball field and just walking out that tunnel like Oriole Park at Camden Yards. I like looking up the stands and kind of seeing the same faces. It might not be for the same reasons I had, but it's always great to see faces smiling here and getting to enjoy a nice day here.
All right, Carter, you guys have an amazing facility so far. Ryan showed us everything outdoors, but in here, this is where all the magic happens, right?
Absolutely.
You being the director of player development, how much time is spent in this area alone?
This area is so crucial for all our guys. Our hitters and our pitchers both use this area. Obviously, we have our 3 batting cages. We can outfit that far tunnel down there to be a pitching development area. All the technology you can imagine is in this room, whether it's TrackMan, the blast motion, the high-speed cameras, all that stuff in here we use on a daily basis. You know, we get to a point in the season where it's hot and everything and we don't want to hit on the field, we'll come in here and just hit exclusively in the cages.
The LED lighting in the back, neon lighting, the banners, rafters hanging up. Is this an ideal spot to bring a recruit?
It is. Honestly, when we bring a recruit here, we always bring them in through these doors, but even more for our current players, right? When they enter the stadium, they enter through these green doors over behind us and they see the history that's in here, and we want that for a reason, because when you're in this building, in this part of the stadium, like, you're working to be on one of those boards.
Netting Pro has created this amazing facility for you guys. How important is it to have this and kind of work with them in this regard?
Yeah, they're awesome. You mentioned the safety aspect, the custom ability of all the nets, of pulling them back. We can make this be an indoor infield if we need to. We take ground balls in here. Sometimes our hitters like to pull some of the nets back and kind of see the ball flight a little bit. Obviously, you see the netting from all the way down, covering all the grandstands, was something that we did a couple years ago, which I think just enhances fan experience. Obviously, there's a baseball aspect of it, of now that no more balls are going to go out of place. Everything's live at the Bosh, which is nice.
Okay, Carter, across UNC, branding is like everything, right? Everyone knows the sports programs have awesome branding. How does baseball's branding compare and it's kind of different than basketballs, footballs, and the other
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, when you have a color named after your school, like, that tells you all you need to know. That Carolina blue is recognizable across the world. But really, for us, being able to work with our partners, with Nike, and being able to custom design these uniforms really puts a baseball touch. You know, we have the Tar Heel script, the Carolina script, which is a little different lettering than other programs have. You know, you see the interlocking in C, you see the Ram logo, you see the Tar Heel mascot. All of that kind of all plays into the brand.
Give me the fan favorite combination versus the player favorite combination.
The fan favorites probably are white sleeveless that we'll wear with white pants that have a Carolina blue stripe down the side. The player favorite, though, is, we call it our Smurf uniform. So it's the blue Tar Heels there on the end, and you wear the blue pants. Those are usually our typical Sunday uniforms.
Right. What about the other brands that are utilized?
Yeah, so we have a great relationship with Wilson Sporting Goods. So all of our gloves are Wilson brand. We swing Louisville Slugger bats, and then all of our guys will always get custom Evo Shield, you know, elbow guards, wrist guards, leg guards, all that stuff, all through Wilson. This room is exclusively for our players. So honestly, as coaches, we come in here very rarely, right? This is their area, when they're doing schoolwork, playing video games. We got all the consoles over there. The biggest item that they love in here is the ping pong table. I tell you, you come in here and there's some fights over that ping pong table at times. But this area is just for them to come in, relax, a space away from their house or their apartment or whatever, and dedicated space for them here in our stadium.
Let's talk about this graphic, man, because we see a lot of player lounges, but not so many that kind of focus on the wall branding.
It's a nice centerpiece for the lounge here. Obviously, you have the interlocking NC up there again. We were talking about the baseball tie with the, with the home plate created by Baseballs. Kind of drives back the Carolina brand, but also tying in with the baseball program.
All right, Carter. First off, I'm not surprised. Every UNC locker room on campus is elite, so this is just falls in line. But what I'm noticing is some mantras, some C words above us. How often do you guys repeat them, and what do they mean? Yeah,
so we have the 4 C's on the wall here: character, confidence, competitiveness, and commitment. Those really go back to Coach Fox. Coach Mike Fox was a legendary coach here for over 20 years. Those were the 4 kind of pillars of his program. And so Coach Forbes obviously played for Coach. He coached with Coach Fox here for 20 years or so. And so Coach Forbes has kind of carried that over through his time here. And then in addition to those 4 C's, Coach Forbes has also added his 5 pillars: unity, thankfulness, servanthood, passion, humility. And so those kind of 9 words are really what guide our program and everything we do. And we look at it not only from the athletic side, but from the academic side, from the human side, from all aspects of a person.
Now, who has access in here? I know you mentioned the player lounge is mostly for the student athletes. Is this kind of student athletes and coaches?
This right here is exclusively student athletes. So in terms of when a coach would come in the locker room, it's honestly, man, it's at the end of a game. We'll come in here and we'll talk, kind of recap a game. But other than that, like, this is their area. This is their kind of sanctuary where, it's the 40 dudes in this locker room, and those are the only people that come in here. And we try to keep it sacred in that regard and make sure that, this is really their dedicated space. It's just for them. As you kind of go through the hallways, you just kind of see the history of the program. You see, this isn't even all of them, but it's some of our more recent major leaguers. You see Zach Gallen, a Kyle Seager, who just recently retired, but a guy like Daniel Bard or Jacob Stallings, guys like that, just you see a visual of where you as a player want to go, and you walk past it every day, and it just gives you something to aspire for every time you walk through these doors. But then just kind of carrying down, you get down to the gear displays. This display is kind of what we call our game display in terms of these are the game uniforms. Obviously, you got our Wilson gloves down there again, back to the Louisville Slugger bats, but then you have your kind of your home, your away, your alternate, your Smurf uniform like we mentioned earlier. This is kind of that game display. The next one down here is kind of everything else.
Do the student athletes have a favorite like travel apparel piece?
Yeah, so we got a pair of those Jordan 1s this year, which was our travel shoes that everyone loved. Everything from head to toe, they're taken care of with Nike and Jordan brand. And so we're really fortunate for that. We had a weight room space before, and it was dark. There was a lot of kind of oversized equipment that kind of just been accumulated over time to give our guys the resources they need. And then we kind of sat down and we're like, look, like, we have some space here, but we also need to make sure we're using it effectively. So we sat down with Sorinex, and Coach Greg Gatz, our strength coach, and we kind of custom designed this entire space based on, the space that we had, the footage we had. So, now we have 8 racks in here. We can lift our whole team in here if we need to. The nice thing about these racks is they're designed where that you can go to a rack and everything you need, from dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells, bands, TRX, med balls, are all self-contained in one rack.
Wow.
Which allows, just with the movement, of people in and out of the space, it makes it so much easier to get those high volume 35, 40 guys in here at a time. So we're now up here in the Hall of Honor on the concourse level of the stadium, just a home to show all the history of the program, and almost like a Carolina Baseball Museum.
This is open to the public on game days. As you've been in here with just the public, the general public, what do you see them kind of go toward as far as the pieces in here?
I think there's a lot of really cool things. I think it takes some time to go through and see everything, but the ring display over there is always a really big item. We have some chairs from the original Rosenblatt Stadium, which are always cool. And then you kind of get attracted to some of the pro jerseys, the big league jerseys of an Andrew Miller or Matt Harvey, Zach Gallen, those types.
Definitely. Now, let's kind of go through some of the other displays over here. The bats, are there any one of those that kind of stick out to you as far as UNC history and lore?
Yeah, I think the one right here, the one that Josh Horton used, he had a career 360 batting average in college, which is pretty neat. And it's one of those old BSR Nike bats, kind of when Nike was still making baseball bats. And so that one sticks out a little bit. And then just some of the others, some of the old Eastons here from Debbie Bell, things like that are always kind of cool to look at.
Well, Ryan spent some time talking about the technology you guys use. We've seen the facility. Now we kind of want to discuss some of the products. I know every college baseball program has products that, they use. So let's go back to the field, man, and check it out. Okay, Carter, like I mentioned, we talked technology, but there are things that kind of keep you guys innovative product-wise that you guys use. Can you kind of go through some of those brands that you guys utilize here?
The Aeroform products, being able to have portable mounts, whether they're doing weighted ball drills, whether they're doing some core velocity belt work, all which help their mechanics, things like that. Being able to have a product like that is awesome.
Awesome. And then how often are you guys, because we saw them in the bullpen, how often are you guys utilizing those?
Our guys use them daily. You know, one of the big things Coach Gaines is really big on is getting off the slope and coming down the rubber and feeling the incline of a pitcher's mount, right? And so having something like that at our disposal at all times, our guys use it daily.
Okay, Casey, you're the perfect person to talk to in regard to just turf management. I know your journey didn't start here, but describe, your journey from college, kind of down the road to where you are now.
I had no idea what I wanted to do coming out of high school, and I got a job at a golf course, and I figured out that I liked being outside, like working on grass. I got into sports turf at NC State, working on their grounds crew when I was in college. Ended up changing my major to turf grass management, and then that just kind of led me to here over the years. I was at NC State for 3 or 4 years as a part-time employee, and then as a full-time employee, and then in 2010 I moved over to UNC into this role.
How is it different from maintaining like a Boshamer where it's not just the field, whereas football stadium, you're kind of maintaining the field? What is the difficulties and differences kind of from each type of turf?
So a lot of our other stadiums, like our football stadium or our soccer stadium, they're grass or synthetic. With baseball and softball, they have a lot of the work goes on the dirt. So, most of the players play the game on the dirt. The outfielders are the only 3 people in the game that are actually playing on the grass for the majority of the game. So a lot of our focus is on the mound and the plate, making sure that, they're fixed right after every game or the moisture's right. And then, for the infield skin where the position players are playing, it's moisture management is key for us. Ryan may stay late at night to flood the field, put moisture in it so that it's there and not dry the next day. Or he may come in early and do it. It just depends on the weather. So a lot of the maintenance is on the dirt at a baseball field.